Hi everybody, I hope this works. I'm trying a different camera. I'm trying that GoPro. It's not really a GoPro, it's a G like George, J like John, T like Tom. Anyway, I wanted to bring you up to date on the dinghy. The dinghy is the same as the towed vehicle. This is a vehicle that I want to tow behind my motorhome. Anyway, the last time I spoke with you, I mentioned to you that I was looking in particular at the Jeep Wranglers, and I want the Sport, the two-door. I also, my perfect world is a hardtop removable, years between 2009 and 2013. Low miles, of course, good condition, of course, and a price range that with my trade-in and my down payment, I can get it below $10,000 to finance. If even that, I'd rather have none, but if possible, no more than 10. And that has a lot to do with retiring and being on a fixed income and being concerned about, you know, I want to be able to live comfortably and not scrape by. I could go ahead and take money out of my Roth fund and just pay for it cash, but I really don't want to do that. That's I might need that down the road. Anyway, so I looked at the yellow one like I told you about when I saw you last time, but meantime I found this blue one. So the blue one was a 2010 Jeep Wrangler Sport, soft top though, and it even had the soft windows on the side, which it wasn't my favorite. I kind of prefer the glass if it's going to have the soft top on the side, but I guess that's like a safety thing. But anyway, I looked at that. It was a gorgeous blue. It had 39,000 miles on it. Everything checked out. It sounded good, and when I drove it, it felt good. When I drove it, it felt as good as my Xterra. Well, the price was higher. The starting price was higher than I wanted to be at, and it was one of those non-negotiable places. It's Honda Renton or Honda of Renton, maybe something like that. And it was just too high. I mean, I can still swing it. I don't want to though. So they said they give me $6,500 on my trade, which is fine, but that's not going to get me to where I want to be. So anyway, so I went ahead and left and told them it was my first car that I looked at. I really liked it, but that I'd go ahead and look at some others. I had an appointment for a couple of others, a white one and of course that yellow one I showed you a couple of nights ago. Anyway, so I went ahead and looked at back up. I wanted to tell you about his name. The salesman that helped me at Honda Renton was named Igor, and it was spelled I-G-O-R. And so when I met him, and I reached out and I shook his hand, I said, "Is that Igor or Igor?" And he said Igor. So it went completely above his head, and he had no clue what I was talking about. And I guess he's young, 30-ish. Also seemed like he was maybe Russian or Polish descent. I'm not sure. Very tall, handsome. And anyway, I said it twice, Igor, and I didn't get a bite, so I figure he had never seen that Gene Wilder movie. And if he did come from another country, his parents probably weren't aware of that movie or didn't never see that movie, so he wasn't exposed to it. So, I kind of let it go, but it was perfect. I couldn't wait to meet him because he had emailed me first with a, Igor name, and I go, oh boy, I'm going to totally ask him, is it Igor, and maybe if he got it, I'd ask him if his hump moved later or something, or anyway, it would have been fun. Anyway, so again, new car, I go on to Puyallup and go look at the yellow one, and I love the yellow one. I showed it to you when I first showed it to you a couple nights ago. I loved it. It fit all my criteria. It has 83,000 miles on it. It was a 2011. Was in really good shape, and they advertise it as an automatic transmission. Well, guess what? I get there and I'm adjusting the seat. He's in the seat. He's just going to get the license plates and stuff, and took the picture of my driver's license when you go for a test drive, right? And I'm at this point, I'm buying this car, right? And I get down. I was having trouble moving the seat forward. Even though I'm 5'6", I still want to be. I like to be closer, and I like my knees bent just a little bit, and I don't want to have that slacking thing going on when I drive. I like to, both hands on the wheels kind of. So anyway, especially if there's somebody sitting next to me. Anyhow, so I get on the, kind of looking around the floor, and I notice the clutch, and I go, oh no, this is a standard. And he says, oh no, did I advertise this wrong, or did I misrepresent it or anything? And I go, I think Car Gurus did. So anyway, he says, well, you could drive a stick, can you? And I go, and I said, yeah, well, yeah, but I don't want to. The standard over years, basically, you know, I'm old. I'll be 62 soon, and it hurts my knees and it hurts my ankles. And if you've ever driven on any of the hills, like in Seattle or Tacoma, I've not been to San Francisco, but Seattle's a lot like that. Driving a stick on a hill and you're at a stoplight is scares the crap out of me. Anyway, so no. I loved it though. He showed me a 2004 with 140,000 miles on it. I'd be like, I'm desperate. It's, you know, it's May 30th and now I'm desperate, and I'll go maybe buy a 2000 or 2004. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, so he said, of course, they're getting more stock in all the time, and he'd give me a call and blah 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 blah. So when I leave there, I'm sorry, I was eating nuts, and so I feel like I got something caught in my throat. Like a hairball maybe. I don't know. I'm just kidding. When I left Puyallup, that car dealership, I called my ex-husband because I was going to have him come and drive the cars that I looked at on Saturday, so he can listen to it and stuff like that. Well, I was going to call him and just cancel him, and I was telling him about it. He says, don't worry, Kathy. You know, they're going to call you back, that guy with the blue car. They're going to call you back and make you an offer. And I thought about it, and I go, you know, that's kind of true, because when I bought the motorhome, they kept coming back with a better offer. It's like, basically, what can we do today to make you buy this car today, basically? And but he didn't when I was at the dealership, so I just figured he wasn't that interested, and they're the non-negotiable kind of prices, so I figured it was kind of a lost deal unless I wanted to pay the $18,900. Well, long story short, I'm driving away, and I hang up with my ex-husband, and sure enough, he calls. Igor calls. And I'm just giggling inside. I'm so happy. And he says, what have you thought? Have you thought anything about the blue Jeep? And I said, yeah, I've thought a lot about the Jeep. I like it. It's at the top of the list except for the price. I'm looking at two others. He says, well, have you seen them yet? And I go, yeah. I saw one. I didn't tell him it was a standard shift, though. I didn't want to give him any more leverage. I said, so tomorrow I'll look at the white one. And then if they're both good, I'll probably choose between those two, since your price on that car is higher than I want to go. True, it's only 39,000 miles, where the yellow one was 83, and I think the white one, if I'm not mistaken, was 92 or 97. So, and the white one was a 2011 also, I believe. Or no, maybe it was a 2009. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll decide between those two probably, you know, in the next day or two is what I told him. And then he says, well, okay, Kathy, if you happen to dream about the blue Jeep tonight and you wake up in the morning, just give me a call. And I said, okay, Igor, if you happen to dream about dropping the price by $2,000, give me a call. He got a giggle, and so did I, and it was fun. I hope I find the right car for me, and I'm you know, really going to take my time. I'm not going to rush into this, even though I feel like I want to just, you know, check that box off my list of all the things and tasks I have to do and accomplish before the end of May. So anyway, I decided that I could afford easily the $18,900 car, the blue car, if I sold my Xterra first and not did a trade-in with it. So I went ahead and put it on Craigslist yesterday morning for $10,500. I decided not to go look at any more Jeeps until I sell my Xterra, right? So I got some nibbles, got some questions, that kind of thing, and I got a scammer. And the scammer goes something like this. Here, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget what I wanted to tell you. The scammer says something like this. He writes back. He says, like, I'm in the military, and I can't make phone calls. I can only email, and I really like your car. And he asked me a couple questions about it, and I have no trouble giving you the price you're asking for it, you know, with the $10,500. And but he says, I prefer to deal with PayPal, so just give me your PayPal information if you have an account, or if you don't have an account, click this link. I'm going, right, I'm not going to click a link to PayPal. I mean, you know it's not going to go to the real PayPal, right? Anyway, and he goes on to say, and then I'll send a courier over there, and then they'll put it in storage for me. And I'm thinking, seriously, red flag, red flag, red flag, no way, Jose. So I wrote him back, and I go, I'm sorry, you may be honest, but everything you said just screamed scam and fraud to me. I said, if you're really serious about this, I've not known anybody in my life who would go buy a used car sight unseen. Now my brother has bought new cars sight unseen, because he travels all over the world, so he has to, you know, basically. But never a used car. No one would ever consider that. I said, so if you are being honest, you're kind of stupid. Anyway, I ended up spamming or blocking his email, so I wouldn't hear from him anymore. So anyway, that's about it on my search for the dinghy or the towed vehicle. So I'll touch base with you all later. Thank you. Oh, I got 19 subscribers now. Thank you, everybody, the new people who subscribed. I know it probably has a lot to do with me putting RTR in one of the videos, the RTR NVPs, and hashtagging it. So I'm sure I got some hits because of that. But I really appreciate the subscribers. I appreciate some of you who have commented. I don't remember your names off the top of my head, but one person was very supportive and just really acknowledged what I was doing, and I love that. It was a woman. I want to say like Maria or somebody. Thank you, whoever you are. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name off the top of my head. And then there was another, I think it was a guy. He's just starting out, beautiful fifth wheel on his page, and he had some great suggestions. He mentioned windmill, so I'm checking into windmill instead of solar now to see if that could work for me. Anyway, take care, everybody. Happy day. I hope it's a good day for you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.